Peter's just like, so did you guys have any pets as a kid? And Gamora's like, I had an eyeball in a jar. It always looked like it wanted to blink, but it didn't have eyelids, so it just couldn't. And then Peter's just like, okay, moving on. Drax, did you have any pets? And Drax is like, but I kind of want to talk about the eyeball. What's up, everyone? Welcome into Lighthearted Gamers, episode 63. Hopefully you're having an incredible day, whatever day you are listening or perhaps watching this podcast. Go to YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sparky3. Make sure you give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, be a friend, tell a friend that you're watching or listening. We greatly appreciate that. So a little bit different for today's episode today because there's no Zach. You know, he's basically my rock here on this show. He's really tied up with some work stuff, but it's okay. The show must go on. I do have John here in studio sitting in his spot. John, how you feeling today? I appreciate you for coming in last minute for me.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I guess I'm just taking over his position for now.
Yes, for now. You know, if you do really well, it could be permanent. Fuck Zach, right? Just throw him under the bus.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, no one wants to fucking talk to him. Today will be a good episode, though. It really will. I am kind of glad. You know, originally John wasn't planning to be on the show. We hadn't talked about anything, but I am kind of glad that he's going to be here because we did get the Halo Infinite campaign reveal, like a new trailer. This is the first time we've seen this thing since last year. You know, and last year, obviously, looked kind of rough, you know, so it was nice to see it again. Looking forward to talking to him about that as a longtime Halo fan. I will be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. I finally got the damn game on Friday. You know, came out Tuesday. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that Cosmic Edition was $80, I probably would have just bought it digitally so I could have played it Tuesday. But I mean, $80 for a special edition, that's a good price. Let's be real. It is. Yeah. You know, it's got a nice steel book. I love the cardboard box that it comes in. The art book is cool. I definitely think it was worth $80. So I dumped probably about like maybe almost 8 hours in it last night. I mean, I got on this and I did not get off. It was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to talk.
Was there any other additional reason why you didn't get it, or was it just?
It was just delayed.
Oh, you got the physical delay again.
Yeah.
I had the same thing. Remember when Pokemon Sword and Shield came out?
Yep.
Mine took like 2 extra days to come
Yes.
in.
Yeah, because I let you borrow my sword because I bought them. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I have not bought a physical edition day one since.
Wait, hang on. Where did you buy that from?
I don't remember. I ordered it online. It was
okay. Was it Target?
It was either Amazon or Target.
Okay, because Guardians for me came from Target, and I also pre-ordered the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl double pack from Target, so I'm kind of worried about that one now this upcoming month.
Yeah, like I said, that's the last time I've done it because that was one of the few times I went, you know what, let's get the physical version. I don't do that anymore. I buy everything digital, and so far it has burned me.
Oh.
I'm not going back.
See, that does worry me, you know, because the main reason I bought from Target over someone else, because I do have a red card, so that gives me a discount. So yeah, it's just, you know, saving a little bit of cash. So that's literally really the only reason is because I had a red card, and plus I was able to just get the double pack, and that's also why I wanted to go ahead and buy that physically, is because it'll just match with my Sword and Shield double pack, you know, same sort of box and everything. Yeah, so it's just me being weird about it.
Yeah, you for some reason you still like game cases.
I do, man. I love them. Especially a steelbook.
Nah, they're clutter in my mind. I don't even know where mine are.
Damn, man. Look, I'm all about a great game case, okay? Just look, whenever we're done casting, I'll show you the Cosmic Deluxe Edition because it does look really clean.
Steelbooks are nice. I do appreciate a good steelbook. I've got a couple of those on my shelf.
Right.
But other than that, unless I'm actively playing the game and need the case there for when I'm swapping in and out, on the few that I have, I don't want them.
Now, I will say, for my Switch games, I do have a separate case for all the games. So the cases are literally just clutter and decorative to show how many games I have because they're not in there. So I will say that.
Because if you try to like show off every Switch games, I mean, you can have a case like fucking this tall,
yep,
and store 50 games in it.
Yep. Yeah, true. We're also going to be talking about some New World today. John, of course, has already given his thoughts here on the show. I have actually jumped into it, which even shocks me. I'm sure John can agree. Probably shocks him that even I got into it.
I could talk anybody into it.
You basically did, yes. Zach initially jumped into it before me, and then I was the last one here.
He's been that first week I put into it. He's been putting those kind of hours into it.
Yeah, a lot more than me.
Yeah,
I will say I have been enjoying it though.
Yeah, he's I think he's close to or matched my 1 week time of roughly like 40 hours or so.
Right. And I'll also be talking about Greedent, which did come out in Pokemon Unite. You haven't played it yet, right?
No, I haven't been on Unite in the past weeks. I think 2.5 weeks.
Gotcha. Well, first and foremost, if you could, go follow us on Twitter at LHG Podcast. We'd appreciate that. And check out other shows like AniMan Plus, Terrible Football Show, talking about movies and stuff. And lastly, if you want to support us further, the Patreon's a great way to do so. Do not feel obligated, though. Just be a friend. Tell a friend. Shout out to Andy, our Tier 1 patron. And also, just a friendly heads up with this episode, the first episode being released in November. We are coming up very quickly on our Black Friday special, where we're going to be breaking down all of the best deals for games across Black Friday. Of course, Black Friday is a wonderful time of year if you're a gamer. If you got a lot on your backlog that you've been meaning to buy, but you've just been waiting for a great deal, Black Friday is probably going to hook you up, because I know I sure as shit have a ton. There's a ton of games that I've held out on buying recently because it's like, I'm not dying to play this at this very second. Let's wait for Black Friday. One that has fallen into that category, unfortunately, is Biomutant. That is one that is on my radar to see if it's going to be on. I have a feeling it will be on sale for Black Friday.
It'll probably hit a pretty decent sale on Friday.
Friday. I agree. That is one. I don't know if this one will go on sale. I've seen it go on sale recently, but I do have that Fairy Tail game on my radar. See if that's going to pop on sale. I'm going to pick that up if it does.
I'm still surprised you never picked that up.
I am too, honestly. I honestly forgot it was a game for the longest time.
You're the one who got me on it.
I know. So Black Friday, man, as much as it is just a giant corporate deal, it is a good time to get some games. And it's always funny to see the sales, because every year there's always like one or two games that every retailer is fighting over for the best price, because everyone releases their ads at separate times. And last year, I think it was just a Call of Duty game, I think is what it was, where it's just like at GameStop it was like this price, and then Walmart came out, it was $1 cheaper, and then Best Buy came out and it was $2 cheaper. And it's just dumb shit like that. It's always funny to check out. Plus it's a good time to get some extra memory, which I like to do. That's a great time to hit some extra memory up if you need it for anything. So keep a lookout for the Lighthearted Gamers Black Friday special. I don't remember what episode number that is, but I'll plug it sooner or later. All right, so before we really jump into stuff, John, anything on your mind, gaming, whether it's game related or not game related, you want to shout out? I mean, shout out to 3 years of Red Dead Redemption 2. That's pretty dope. And 5 years of Xenoverse 2. John, you're a big Xenoverse fan like me. Are we ever going to get 3?
That depends on if the people that are playing Xenoverse 2 ever stop buying all of the additional DLCs that come out.
That's true.
They've learned that they can just release them, and the community of that game is just begging for more.
Right. Xenoverse 2 is one of my favorite games that I've played. I'll be honest. It is one of my favorite games. I think it's, in my opinion, the best Dragon Ball game. I genuinely do believe that. And I really want a Xenoverse 3 so bad, because like there's so much more content they can cover, whether if they want to like take the story and maybe make it where we jump back to Dragon Ball some, we have more super content to cover. And then not to mention, keep in mind, Xenoverse 1 and 2 came from Dragon Ball Online. That's where, Toa, Mira, and Fu all came from. So, I mean, there's more Dragon Ball Online content to cover. I want a 3 so bad.
Yeah, if a 3 came out, that would immediately jump to the top of my playlist.
Absolutely. Because I mean, like, it's also just like, what are they going to do for our created characters? Like for Saiyans, are we going to be able to go like Super Saiyan 4? What more are they going to give us for humans? Will they add in an android race, which was on Dragon Ball Online? Will we have like split final evolutions, which I think was also on Dragon Ball Online? So like, I know for Super Saiyan, it'd probably be like, you could either go like God or 4, for example. Like, dude, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah, I think if they do, well, I think eventually one is gonna come out. Eventually one has to, because you can only keep releasing the content for the same game until eventually you got to hit the point where you're like, something new has got to come. So I expect we will get one. No telling when at this point, but it could just be for them, the more time they spend letting like super content come out, that's just extra stuff they can make for the game when it does eventually come out, if it does.
Right. One day, man. I love Xenoverse games, so I can hold out hope.
Yeah. Just one thing, one note of game that came out. I believe it was Thursday, if I remember correctly, 28th. Game I've been waiting for a long time to come out. Finally came out, and that's Age of Empires 4.
Mm.
And I just wanted to shout that out. I haven't got to play it yet. I downloaded it this morning when I got up, and I'm very much looking forward to going home and playing that, because RTS games like Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, those were the games that I would spend like full days just playing, like campaign or just playing versus mode against computers or something when I was younger, because it's like I didn't really have internet to play online or anything. So
right.
So I just play them, and I love those games. And the fact that a new one has just come out, I'm looking to sink my teeth into that one.
When the last one come out?
It's been a while. I don't know the exact date.
Okay.
See if I can find that.
Yeah, let's fact check that. No, I feel you though, because I mean that. Man, my first like online game that I ever had was Warcraft 3. So, and I sunk so much time into offline Warcraft 3 and then even the online mode. So like, I understand how you feel, because that's how I felt with the initial announcement of Reforged, and then they just butchered Reforged terribly, where it's just like, oh no.
Yeah. Age of Empires 3, 2005.
Oh yeah, this is a long time coming. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I'm excited to it. I looked at some reviews of it on Steam, and it seems like so far the people that have it are loving it.
Okay, that's good. That's going to be your entire evening.
That's probably it's like when I go home from here, that's probably what I'm going to do the rest of the day.
Okay, all right. Take a break from New World and hop into Age of Empires.
I've been having to a little bit,
right?
But because there's
only so much grind.
There's only
you can do.
so much of that grind I can do before my brain just starts to turn to mush.
Okay. I mean, I feel that, since I'm still like very much a novice at MMOs. I've dabbled in them very little. So even the little that I've done of New World, like I will say in one sitting, I have dumped a pretty decent amount of hours the first weekend I played it. But even throughout the week, it's just like, all right, what grind do I want to do today? Let's go cut some trees down. Let's go do this. It's like, all right, there's only so much. It's like, I guess I'll run some quests today. So I'll run all over the fucking map. And it's after doing like 19,000 quests, I'm like, all right, well, let's take a break.
Yeah.
It gets a little rough. All right, let's go ahead and just jump into the news real quick, and so we can get down to our talking points for the week. So I'll run through a couple things that came out during the break week that we had last week. So the first thing is a new Splinter Cell is reportedly in development. Let's see how Ubisoft's gonna fuck this one up potentially. I do know that Splinter Cell fans are very excited as well as worried about this, because they have had, it's long overdue for a game for them for sure. Apparently the CPU and graphics card shortages that we have been dealing with could go into 2023, which is concerning for a lot of reasons, because that's basically what has fucked us in terms of getting the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5s, is those chip shortages. And from all the reports that we've seen involving this new Nintendo console, that's ultimately why the new Nintendo console has continuously been pushed back from what was supposed to be this year. That Switch OLED was supposed to be like a Switch Pro, and then also could be pushing it back all the way to 2023. So hopefully that gets squared away so we can get, I will say, just because I'm still in the hunt for a Series X, I did see, just kind of randomly looking, that a Series S, I've been kind of seeing them in our area recently. I did see that there was some at the West Little Rock Best Buy that was available for pickup. So that was something. Maybe nature's healing.
Yeah, I will say I don't particularly find myself wanting to buy either a Series X or a PS5. Currently, I do eventually want to get one, but I will say it's like I found myself now, anytime I do go to a store, I end up swinging by just on the off chance that you see like that one is there, that
right,
you don't know how it got there, but if it's there, you gotta get it.
Yeah, man, I will say I did have a small debate with myself when I actually bumped into Series S in our local Walmart. It was there in front of me, and I did debate, but I was, at the end of the day, man, okay, Look, I plan to buy both, and I have my reason, and I'll explain it. But I want a Series X first. That's ultimately what I want. But I do plan to buy both because, with the Xbox Series, in case you did not know this, you can actually turn on developer mode with these consoles. And you can turn it back off, whatever. I mean, you can go back to normal, but it's a pain in the ass. So that's why I wanted both consoles, so I could have one in permanent developer mode and then one as my normal play console. Because with turning it in developer mode, I mean, it opens up the door where you can play pretty much anything. I mean, you can go on YouTube and find videos of people playing like GameCube games in 4K, and they look awesome. Like Metroid Prime looks awesome, and so that is why I want both, is so I can do that and not have to continuously revert it back and forth. But I with where I am now, getting closer and closer to Halo, I'm just like, damn, I kind of wish I bought that Xbox. I mean, it's only $300. That's not bad. It's really not. Anyway, so back to the break week news. So as we already knew, McCree was getting his name changed in Overwatch due to all the allegations. Of course, Jesse McCree was named after an actual developer named Jesse McCree, which was in these allegations. The name has officially come out as Cole Cassidy. I mean, I wasn't against the name change, honestly. I'm not really feeling Cole Cassidy, but it might grow on me. We'll see. Blizzard also announced that BlizzCon Online is canceled. That was coming out, of course, in January. They've already pushed it back as it is the past couple of years. It's always end of year. Now they've made the first month year, but BlizzCon Online is canceled. Obviously, because of these allegations that they're still dealing with, it just makes sense to cancel it. They said they'll come back later on as they kind of reevaluate what they want to do with the con. It is what it is. I Blizzard can just go away.
They just need to go away for a while, deal with their shit, and then from there we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
for right now, I'm kind of with you. The Cole Cassidy name doesn't really sit with me.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't really seem fitting. But,
right.
But I mean, as far as that goes, they just. I like I said, I kind of agree with you. I think they just need to take a step back, quit trying to kind of do these like small little things,
right?
And then just fully step back and go, we'll see you when we've got everything sorted.
Right. And I agree. I definitely think that's the best way to go. And while we're on the topic of Blizzard, I guess I'll go ahead and plug this. It wasn't our news, but a studio that did merge with Activision Blizzard this year, Vicarious Visions, they have been officially absorbed by Blizzard. The developers at VV, they just got the notification Wednesday, like, oh, by the way, you're no longer Vicarious Visions, you're just Blizzard now. It caught a lot of people off left guard, which, yeah, that sucks, man. Because I mean, they've done pretty well at their last few games. Of course, most notably Tony Hawk remake, Pro Skater 1 and 2. That was by them. They get like purchased and merged with Activision Blizzard. They moved over to help with the Diablo 2 remake. I think they're helping with Diablo 4. I know they helped with Diablo 2 remake, making sure that got out the door. Now they're just Blizzard. Point blank. Period. You're just Blizzard now. Like, that's gotta suck, dude. That has got to suck. Imagine that, John. Like,
all that time making a name for yourself.
Yeah,
proving you
30 plus years.
Proven that you have something worth something to one of these companies, and then now you're no longer that.
Right.
Welcome to our team.
Just imagine that, dude. I'm 30 plus years. Like what you just said, 30 plus years. You sink into this business, and that just happens. That's shit, dude. That is shit. Oh, man. Anyway, the last thing that came out during the break week is we did get the official announcement of the GTA Definitive Edition with some weird releasing. It's coming out next month, or this month now, in November for digital, and the physical is coming out in the beginning of December. This actually took a little bit of heat online, I mostly because of the graphics, which I feel like it's mostly maybe like newer players, like GTA 4 and GTA 5 players, because I feel like from what I saw, everyone like me and you who played these games originally, like we were all perfectly fine with the graphics. Did you see this? Did you feel the same way with the graphics, or are you kind of about it? Because I think the graphics are fine for what these games are. I mean, they're great games.
I mean, I still have when I think of these games, I still have the vision of them from when I played them originally.
Right? Same here.
Nothing has changed in my mind. I'm still, like, when I think of these games, I'm thinking of what they used to look like, because that's what my memory of them is. So
right.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, the big thing that I saw people complain about was like the character models because they looked like a little too like almost cartoony, polygony, whatever, with how they did it. But like you take that out of the equation and you look at everything around like the world looks awesome. It looks incredible. And plus, one big upside is that they at least enhance the gameplay because it's going to have GTA 5 controls. So I mean, that is at least one plus because those controls, while the games are good, the controls were kind of dated.
Well, true. But I think the other point with some of this remastered talk that keeps coming out, and it seems like almost any game that gets remastered, somebody or like there's a community out there complaining about, well, it doesn't look as good as I wanted it to. Well, that's still the difference between a remaster and a remake.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're just taking it and making it look a little bit better. They're not remaking it they're not 100% remaking the game from ground up. They're just taking it, porting it up, and trying to make it look good while they do it.
Right. Is this something that you're going to pick up?
It kind of depends. It's like they're fun games for me, but they're not anything that I've like been itching for. It's not something that's been on like my radar as far as I can't wait for this to come out.
Right.
Because it's like right now I've got my hands full with other games I've been trying to play.
Right. I'll say for me, I do plan to pick it up, but I don't know how quickly I'm going to play it because the only reason why is obviously we don't know if this is true. This is all rumors, but when these were initially being leaked and stuff, the initial rumors were depending on how well these sold will depend on if a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake or remaster happens. So because of that, I will.
You're willing to shell out money on on that basis. Okay.
Yes.
I can respect that.
Like I really want Red Dead Redemption 1 remake or remaster to happen, so I will buy these for that. Plus, I mean, it's not like I'm losing in this. These are good games. I mean, I'll play them eventually. I'll at least hop on. The first one that I'll probably play is actually probably Vice City. I have not played Vice City in a very long time, so I'll probably play that first. I mean, I will play these games. They are good, especially San Andreas and Vice City. 3 is okay. But, I mean, it's not like I'm losing in this situation. But I'm just going to base it off all the reports. You know, I want to make sure that Red Dead Redemption 1 can have a chance at being a thing. All right, so let's hop into some rumors, actually. So I got a couple things here lined up. So the first one is involving Marvel's Avengers. Apparently the next characters rumored for 2023 is Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Loki. Apparently Shang-Chi has been bumped up in development massively from like very bottom tier, almost not going to happen, to it's going to happen because of the success of the movie. Captain Marvel was apparently originally being planned as the final character. That is no longer the case. Apparently they're going to expand from there. And apparently the dev team is having a massive development issue right now working with those past generation consoles. You know, for the PS4 and Xbox One. Apparently they are having to, it's almost, from what I've understood, like the same level as what developers have trying to get a game on the Switch. Like they're having some big issues.
I can see that because from what I've played of the game, of course I'm playing it on PC. I mean, the game looks fantastic, regardless of the gameplay.
True.
The game looks fantastic. I mean, granted, I haven't gotten like too far into the game. I haven't seen everything it has to offer in it, but there's a lot going on in some of these missions, some of these fights that's going on.
Yep.
It's like I can definitely see like the past gen hardware not being able to handle it that well.
Right.
I mean, initially it's probably like, okay, well, this is passable, and now it's like a year later, and it's like, well, we kind of want to do some stuff, but if we're relying on it to be on this old console, we can't really do it.
Right. And you know, it's funny you talk about that because that is going to be one talking point I have for Guardians. While I have had a great time, I can see where people's going to have a bad time. I'll talk about that here in a bit. So next up, Injustice 3 is apparently rumored to be revealed at Game Awards. That would make sense. We know NetherRealm has officially done with Mortal Kombat 11. That's the one that's The current one?
I believe it's 11.
Okay. So we know NetherRealm's completely done with that, and they're moving on to the next project, and Justice 3 would make sense. Apparently, Sackboy Big Adventure was found on Steam database, and then the devs immediately scrubbed Steam afterwards when that was discovered. So that kind of points to that's probably going to happen. Plus, with some of the PlayStation news that we did get this week, makes sense. An unannounced Sonic Mania 2 seems to have been canceled by Sonic of America. They just couldn't get things worked out with the developer, which, keep in mind, Sonic Mania was literally made by fans. The developers for Sonic Mania was a fan-made developing team that Sonic of America was just like, yeah, we'll pay you to do this. And Sonic Mania ended up being one of the better Sonic games that's come out over the last 15 years. So I don't know, something went down there where Sonic of America and that dev team couldn't get on the same page, and Sonic Mania 2 was unfortunately canceled from the sound of it. And there was some data mining with Nintendo Switch Online, which shows 38 more Nintendo 64 games planned coming up. And apparently, from what I saw, is that with the way they're listed and the way the current games are listed, they're listed like, whatever, N64 number, right? And if you line it up, it's actually just listed based like alphabetically. So just, if you go look at N64 games alphabetically, you can actually line these games up with what they are. So like all 3 Mario parties are apparently on that list, which is kind of wild to me. That one like snowboarding game is on there. I can't remember the name of it though. Apparently GoldenEye is a possibility because Nintendo did actually request Germany to unban GoldenEye 007. So that could be on there and coming to multiplayer. John, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on, jumping over to our quick news here? Apparently the N64 with Nintendo Switch Online, apparently it eats ass. So what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to, initially it's nice to see that they already have like a whole library of games they're planning on coming out with. Like, they've already got them set up. They already have, you would assume, a release window where they're talking about getting them done, and it's just a matter of either finishing the upload of them and then sending them out to fans, or like doing a direct forward or something, which that's all great news. Unfortunately, apparently the online features with the Nintendo 64 are not great.
Yeah.
I've seen some reports of like certain games. I think the Mario Kart in particular was one of them.
Right.
Where you can't save it because the original game required you to have the like the expansion pack in the controller to save it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just I guess ported it 1-to-1.
Right.
So when you go to save, it just offers, or it tells you you can't save it because no pack is detected in the controller.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, in Ocarina of Time, input lag is pretty bad.
Yeah, I have heard that too.
Yeah, and I saw a video of it, and it's, I mean, the average person probably looking at it would probably go, that's not too bad. But anybody that has played these games, on say like emulation or on other forms of like the past,
ports,
like the past ports,
Wii U, Wii, N64, like GameCube, it's like 3DS.
Those ports were fine.
Right.
It's like those ports were fine. How they fuck this one up?
Now, did you also see how fucked some of the button layouts are if you're not using the N64 controller?
It doesn't. You can't remap it.
I know. Like,
you can't it's like where you would normally have your like A, B, X, and Y.
Yeah.
It's like A and B are on there, but X and Y are like C stick buttons.
Right.
And then to use the C stick, like to be where like your D-pad would be on your controller, you have to hold the trigger to be able to use it as a C stick. And it's like, that doesn't, why do you have to go through all these extra steps?
Right.
You have the buttons here.
Yep.
It's like, why could you not just remap the C stick to the directional pad?
Right.
It's like, I don't understand the thought process with some of these button maps.
I don't either, because I saw one where it was some streamer. I don't know who he is, but apparently he plays Mario 64. He does like speedruns and stuff. Or it was the perfect still shot of where he's looking at the button layout on the Switch, not on the N64, and he's just like, oh, what the fuck? Because like the X, Y, BA buttons for the Switch, like Joy-Con, was listed as the A-B for the N64, and then the X and Y was 2 of the yellow directional buttons, and then the other 2 yellow directional buttons were like somewhere else. And I'm just like, that makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, because to access some of the other buttons, it's like you have to do a combination.
Yes, a combo.
You have to do a combination of holding one of the triggers, and then you'd be able to use like the D-pad or something, or using the triggers, and then you have the bumpers that you can use.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's like you could almost at first be like, okay, well, the button layouts kind of suck. Maybe they know the buttons aren't that great, so you have...
Coming into this, we knew it was going to be rough. Yeah. N64 is a weird controller.
Yeah, but it's like you would think, okay, well, maybe this is some weird Nintendo push to try to sell the controller that was already going to sell well.
Right.
But then the controller's not available.
I know. It gets scalped immediately.
It's like the controller is immediately sold out because Nintendo doesn't understand that their fans like these peripherals that they release.
Right.
They just make some and they go, it's probably good enough.
Yep.
But man, it's a rough state for it to launch in.
Dude, it is.
It almost looks like Nintendo's like, okay, fine, we're gonna release the N64 because you people, it's like all of you fans were asking for it, but it's not gonna be good.
But you're got it.
You're gonna get it, but you're gonna get it Nintendo's way.
Yeah, dude. Hopefully it gets worked out, because, I mean, let's be honest, 38 games that are currently kind of lined up, that's going to run easily for the rest of the Switch's life with the way they release stuff. So hopefully they sort this out, especially if they're going to continue to add in more stuff like Game Boy Color and everything.
Yeah, it's like, it shouldn't be that hard. They should be able to do a couple updates to it. Or at least a couple updates to fix like being able to map controller or button map it however you want to.
Right.
It's like that should be a relatively easy fix. Some of the other problems with like input lag and that, I don't understand how that's going to work, or it's like I don't understand what is causing that, but you would think that they've done it before on numerous consoles. They should be able to figure it out. They've done it before.
Hopefully. John, what else do we have going on in the news this week?
Yeah, moving on from the N64, we did get the new Hisuian forms.
Hisuian? I don't know. I think it's Hisuian.
Hisuian?
I think it's Hisuian.
Whatever this old damn region's called. We got the new forms for Zorora and Zorak.
Ooh.
Which appear to be normal ghost type.
Which is like one of the best types in existence. That's never been a thing.
Yeah, and it's like people already love these mons. So to see new forms of them with good typings is fantastic.
Right.
Then, let's see, we had the PlayStation PC branding officially announced now.
True. Which I think is setting up for that potential client that we've talked about before. I think it's coming. It makes too much sense. They don't have to give 30% to Steam. They're still building this up, whatever, with one big game coming out here soon that I know you may be excited for. I don't know. I know you're excited for. I know you like the game, but I don't know if you're gonna get it on Steam.
Yeah, because this past week, I believe it was, we got IGN's greatest game of all time pre-order available on Steam for God of War 2018.
That fucking bracket.
Which while the bracket was memey and we already had our piece with that.
Yeah, we did.
The game itself is fantastic, and to see it coming to PC finally I'm excited for that. I'm probably not gonna pick it up on PC again because I've still got my PlayStation with it. Mm-hmm. I think I've still got it downloaded on there.
Right.
I don't know if I've ever actually uninstalled it, but that coming to PC being the next like flagship PlayStation game there. I don't know if they could have really had a better choice for it.
Right.
Because I mean, if you're looking for anything to kind of kick off kind of like that the branding there, it's one of the best games to do it with.
Do you feel like when it comes to the God of War, like I saw someone compare God of War coming to PC as almost the same equivalent as if like Mario or Zelda would go to PC. Like it's that level of branding for PlayStation. Do you kind of feel the same way for Sony and God of War?
Before 2018, I wouldn't have said so.
Okay.
But with the resurgence of God of War and the popularity
game of the year,
with
whatever.
the popularity that game achieved, and the hype around Ragnarok coming out, I mean, it's hard not to compare it that way, because it's at this point it's become one of the biggest like flagship titles,
right,
for Sony. See, we got Warner Brothers Multiverse Smash-like game leaks.
So stupid.
Is this just the times that we're in now, where
Yes.
everybody wants to make a Smash game?
Did you see some of the roster for this? The roster picture is what was leaked.
I didn't see the picture. I saw some of the names. I cannot picture them right now.
Okay, well, Gandalf's going to be in this. Shaggy's going to be in this.
Yeah, Shaggy and Gandalf were the two
two
names that I had heard.
LeBron James is going to be DLC apparently.
This is
so stupid.
What a fucking world we live in now.
I did get some information on this as well from like Jeff Grubb and GameSpeed and everything. Apparently, Jeff has gotten to see it. He says that it looks like it's a very low budget game. It's not like what we got out of Nick All-Stars, which is apparently a pretty good game. No, he said this is actually, it looks very low budget to the point that this is probably going to be free to play.
Yeah. It's not Nick All-Stars where we had like huge fans of this like Smash games. And just loved the Nickelodeon characters and went, you know what, we're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is
a meme.
This is somebody who was joking in a meeting and they got approval for it. Yeah,
it's just like, oh yeah, we could do this, and the guy's like, actually, yeah, do that. Wait, what?
yeah, go for it. Here's some money. Oh shit, I didn't expect to have to do it now.
Oh fuck.
How do I make a game?
Jesus.
And then we have what's this, reports of San Andreas coming to Oculus Rift 2.
Yeah, no, that was actually announced flat out by this was announced by Mark Zuckerberg during that whole big thing where they rebranded the parent company to Meta. Yeah, he announced it there. He's like, yeah, we're going to be bringing San Andreas to Oculus Rift 2, and everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that rebranding, that I just stayed as far away from that as I could. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg announced it there. Yeah, of all people, Mark was the one that announced it.
That's probably a reason I didn't realize that.
That's gonna be wild to play that game in VR. In my opinion, it really would.
I feel like playing any like GTA game like that would be wild in VR, let alone San Andreas.
Right.
Because that's just gonna be weird.
Going into that cop's bathroom, getting the dildo IRL.
So we got a Division Heartlands, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time remake, and Rocksmith, all delayed for Ubisoft's fiscal year ending March 2023. Release window April 20. It's supposed to be April 2022 to March 2023.
Yeah, that I just put that in there because, like, for anyone that doesn't know what a fiscal year is for most companies.
Oh, that's the fiscal year. I was like, wait a second.
No, that's just the fiscal year that it would release now. So potentially fall for like maybe Division. You know, I feel like that would make sense. It would maybe be a fall release. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. That's one that I would like to be good, but I have a lot of worries. I really do. I hold that game in like a nostalgic regard, but
that's one that I hear the name of and I hear people kind of say things like that, and I'm like, I never saw it or played it or did anything with it. I don't understand this.
Yeah, I mean it's a great game. The first one, I like Warrior Within. The second one, that's my favorite. Two Thrones, the third one, that's my least. But I'm glad it's being delayed. But that also tells me that there's been problems, and that worries me.
And then we got Ubisoft confirmed Assassin's Creed Infinity will not be free to play.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense. But with what they're wanting to do with, I don't know. I mean, with the way they've described Assassin's Creed Infinity, it's like where it's like this open service, live service game. I guess it's not into the world. 'Cause, I mean, look at New World. It's $40 for an MMO. I mean, it's not a free to play MMO, whatever. So I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just kind of iffy about the Assassin's Creed Infinity thing in general, being like a live service experience.
Yeah, the problem with just coming out and saying it's not going to be a free to play, it's like it may not be eventually or initially, but that's where all of these games that start out and end up being free to play eventually.
Right.
Because it's going to be one of the things I guess Ubisoft's going to realize eventually, because it's like these games are hard to please your audience.
True.
And especially I find that especially for an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Because it's like with the direction that Assassin's Creed games have gone in the past few years, the more RPG style, some fans really love it.
Right.
Some fans really miss the old style.
I'm one that misses the old
they're
style.
already, it's like you're already splitting your audience between like, they buy them, they love the games, but they miss the old style.
Right.
And now you're transitioning it to this weird live service game.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bold move to just flat out say, no, not free to play right now.
Right.
It's like, come on, let us see some footage of it and get some feedback before you start making all these claims.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we got Marvel and Skydance New Media announced partnership for a new AAA action adventure game.
Let's go.
Previously announced in 2019, they're working on a huge AAA project with no other details.
And this is the details. This is the details they could not reveal at the time. And it's also important to know this is led by Amy Hennig, who was the creative director and writer for the first 3 Uncharted games. Obviously, we don't know what this could be at this point. It is cool to see Marvel getting more, really committing to the game space. We've played, Spider-Man, love it, fantastic. I'm pumped for Wolverine. I would imagine you're probably pumped for Wolverine.
I'm optimistically skeptical.
Fair. I'm pumped, because it's Insomniac, so I'm ready. Guardians of the Galaxy has been great so far. Avengers it's a thing. They're one flop.
It's okay. It's okay from what I've played of it. Not really worth looking back at, in my opinion, right now.
And then we have Midnight Suns coming out too.
That's the one I'm pumped for.
Midnight Suns.
Surprisingly, that's the one I'm excited for.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see more details come out of this. At least we know that it's been 2 years in development now, going on 3 years, so we at least know that much. So I would probably, would you say that maybe like E3 next year we get to see what this is? 2019 announced originally, and now we got the official announcement of the partnership that, apparently it's been a thing the entire time. It's just been somehow managedly kept on the DL.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of at this point, when it's like this has been originally announced 2019, now we're looking at, okay, well, now we know a partnership with it at least.
Right.
Is the thing that comes to my mind with that is Bayonetta 3. It was 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years from initial announcement to finally getting actual information about it. So I would be optimistic that, like, say this next year, we get, if nothing else, kind of like title what game is.
Yeah, at least know what it is.
And like teaser for it at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it would be optimistic to expect much more than that.
Right. Oh, I'm curious what it would be. We got Wolverine, we've got Spider-Man established. Guardians is now, in my opinion, established. For once, I have not actually already looked into the ending of Guardians. I have no idea if it sets up for a 2. I'd probably assume that it does. Then we have Avengers, which is already it's a thing, I guess. So I don't know. I wonder if it could be like one of the main heroes that we know, like a Captain America or an Iron Man or Thor, or would it be like maybe Fantastic Four? That could be a thing.
Fantastic Four is kind of where my mind went, but I also would think I would prefer the idea of like either like a lesser known character,
right,
or like a character that everybody already knows, bigger character that gets their own solo kind of storyline, because we don't get those too often.
True.
Or we don't get good versions of those too often.
True.
So it'd be It'd be nice to see something like that. Although I'm not opposed to like some sort of like team up game.
Right. Kind of like what Guardians is. Well, Guardians, I mean, you're playing as only a Star-Lord the whole time, but just controlling the rest. I'm kind of curious if it was Fantastic Four, how would they do that? Would they, focus on like Reed Richards and you control the other, like a Guardians approach, or do you just go through the four at a time? But I don't know. It could also be like Punisher, Daredevil, or something. I mean, not lesser known heroes by any means, but still, it's like
just
heroes
smaller,
that don't get their shine.
Smaller in scale, I would say.
Right. Yeah.
We got all 360 Halo games will have their servers shut down officially in early 2022. Previously, end of this year.
Moment of silence. Moments passed. Big sad.
It's everybody knew it was coming. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Everybody's known it's happening. Still a bit rough to know that it's here.
Yeah, dude, me and you spent so much time on Halo 3 to an unhealthy level. So to hear this really hurts. Like you said, we knew it was coming, God.
It's hard to see because I was actually thinking about this the other day. I kind of wanted to go back and look at all of my medals.
Right.
I wanted to go back and look at them the other day. I haven't done it yet, but I want to go look back at them just to kind of see how much time was put into that.
Yeah. Big rip, dude. Big rip. Hey, it had a hell of a run. It still has an audience today.
The fact that it's still like it's 2021, almost 2022.
Yep.
And it's just now being shut down is incredible.
Fucking hell of a run, boys. We had a hell of a run. No one can take that away from us. We also got the chance to see the Halo Infinite campaign, like I mentioned. What was your thoughts on it? I mean, it's a 6-minute video, but does it get you? I mean, me and you both, we plan on playing that multiplayer. It's free to play, so I mean, come on. I mean, we're planning to play that, but how are you feeling on the campaign? Is this something? I mean, you have Game Pass, so you'll be good no matter what. But is this something that you would buy, or how are you feeling on what their approach?
It looks weird. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of cool stuff they show, but a lot of things that just look like, I don't know, odd.
Right.
Because like that trailer did show me something I was kind of curious about, which was kind of the grappling hook.
True. It did put emphasis on that.
We were wondering how that was going to work, if it was going to be like grapple to whatever you want to, or grapple to specific points. Mm-hmm. Almost looks like grapple whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I mean, I saw videos of people swinging like Spider-Man from the beta.
Yeah, it's like, it looks like you can grapple wherever the fuck you want to, which is cool. I will say, it's like when it was showing what are the enemies called? Like Banished or something?
Yeah, the Banished, I think is what they said.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I said it to you when I was watching. I'm getting looks like Destiny fights. Looks like
it does. Yeah,
looks like a lot of the enemies you'd fight throughout like the early Destiny 2 campaign.
Right,
is kind of what some of the Banished were looking like to me. But overall, I mean, it looks interesting. It's like looks like giant maps to go through. It's like I saw the ability to like go to a station, pick pretty much whatever vehicle you want to go around in, whether it be flying vehicle, mongoose, something, or warthog, anything like that. So that's an interesting thing where it's like, okay, well, it's like once you get here, how do you want to travel around the world?
Right. I am curious how big this, like the way they described it in this trailer is like you can literally go around this entire ring. Is that kind of what you gather? Because I thought that's what they said, is that you can literally go around the whole ring.
It's what it sounded like. I'm not sure. That's where I'm interested. Is it gonna be open, or is it gonna be just kind of like big like zone areas where like you hit your load point, open into a new one, and then kind of like that? Because if that's the case, I'm still not opposed to that. It just kind of closes it off a bit, in the sense of like, if you're gonna let people just get their like flying vehicles and go where they want to, it'd be weird kind of hitting these loading barriers constantly.
Now, one thing that did worry me, and I'm curious if you've worried you as well, is they did put a short little emphasis here in this trailer about the raid bases that you had to go take care of, whatever. Are you worried that it's going to be too much of a focus on the raid? Because I'm personally kind of worried it's going to be like overkill, almost like what we get out of these like Ubisoft games, where it's where it creates the Ubisoft fatigue. Like, I'm worried that these like bases that we need to go blow up consistently, I feel like it's going to be too repetitive. And it's going to be way too many.
That's going to be the same thing every single time you go to do it.
That's what I'm worried about.
You're going to go there, you're going to destroy something, kill some enemies, or like hack into a computer or something like that. And that's going to be what you do 100 times if they want you to.
That's what I'm worried about.
Which, that aspect, I mean, I saw that and I went, okay, well, yeah, there's your little, if anything, it's kind of, if we're assuming kind of like open world-ish, for it, those will be like your almost like your points of interest. It's like, okay, I have to go over here to do this thing. Mm-hmm. Which, if anything, it's like if there's not too many, it won't be too bad. If anything, it'll just get tedious.
That's what I'm worried about. It's just how tedious it's going to be, where it's going to just feel fatigued.
Yeah, I will say there was the moment in the trailer where I believe it was at one of those like little control point things where you got to go blow it up. There's a moment where it goes into a pause menu, has like a little leveling progression tree almost, it looked like, that they selected something in, and then next thing you know, he grapples a hammer over to him, dashes to the side, turns invisible, and then just swings down and hits him from the back. And I saw that and I'm like, okay, well, this one, while cool looking, didn't necessarily look Halo.
I agree 100% on that. It did look cool, and we're gonna feel like a badass when we do it.
It's like everything about it was cool, but nothing about it besides the hammer was Halo.
Right. Which that's been our problem, at least, and a lot of people's problem with 4 and especially 5, is that it just doesn't really feel like Halo.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's, from what it looked like, I mean, it looked good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looked like it'd be fun, but aside from some of the names, seeing enemies that we've been fighting for since Halo 1, mm-hmm. and all this, I don't know, it just seemed different than I was expecting.
Now, here's a question for you. John, are we going to go back and are we going to finish Halo 5?
I've asked you this before, and you didn't give me an answer.
Okay, fair. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a while before we can even co-op Infinite together anyway, because of that delay, which I still think is stupid.
I mean, if anything, I'm down to co-op that when the ability comes out.
Right. It'll be interesting to see like if the campaign is going to grab us, because knowing me, I'll probably jump into it when it releases just to try it. But I don't know, man. Halo to me is such a cooperative experience. That's how I've always played the campaign. That's how I've always had the most fun. So I may not really dive too much. I'm going to try not to, at least, until it can be co-op where like me, you, and maybe Jared can all play it together.
Yeah, it's like a co-op side of it I'll be down for. I mean, this is supposed to be day one Game Pass, right?
Day one Game Pass.
Yeah, it's like I may check it out.
Yeah, just give it a shot.
Yeah, check it out, see what it's about, at least get a first impression of it.
Right.
See how fun it actually is, and then kind of go from there.
I know me and you are going to be very much deep into that multiplayer route when it drops.
Yeah, I'll at least be jumping into the multiplayer.
Right.
That's not really a question for me.
Yeah, me too. All right, I guess I can talk about Greedent real quick, because that's a short one anyway. It's just my initial thoughts, and we'll jump into some New World and some Guardians of the Galaxy. So Greedent Defender, I love him. I love him. He is fun. Apparently he's bugged. I didn't actually see what the bug was, but it was another one of those, like the Lucario bug that happened where like Lucario was one-shotting people. But Greedent is a lot of fun. I will say, out of his moves, I don't really care for the seed bomb ability, whatever it's called. I don't really care for that one. So John, just so you know, for the seed bomb ability, it's kind of weird. He just continuously is firing out the seeds, but you have to hold down the button the whole time. You don't just press it and he goes. You hold down the button and you can still move around and stuff, and you're kind of locked in your one position, whatever. It's weird. I don't care for it. I don't, the hold the button to use the ability keeps throwing me off every single time I try to use it.
That seems weird because that almost sounds exactly like, aside from having to hold the button, that kind of sounds like Sylveon's hyper voice, because you can still move around while it's going. You don't have to hold the button though.
Yeah,
it just kind of goes, and it's like you can't turn your direction. You can just move, like strafe around and move back and forth, but you're locked into firing in that one direction.
Yep. No, this one you have to hold down the button, which I thought was very strange. Which on that tier, the other ability is Black anyway, which I prefer as is. I think it's a much better ability, especially because it has a cooldown where it's just like the more berries that you have stacked, because you can stack up to 5 when you're doing abilities and picking them up and stuff. Like the more that you have stacked at a max 5, you can basically like quickly double shot this if you have 5 berries going into it. For the other abilities, which I'm drawing a blank on both their names. Flail, I think, was one potentially. It's been at least a week since I played Unite. I do apologize. And then whatever the other one is, where you just stuff cheeks, where you just like throw the berries out. The flail one is kind of tough to control. It is very annoying. So there, I do like it to that capacity, is that you can annoy the fuck out of some people because you just kind of run around, and every single time you hit an opponent, they get very quickly stunned. It's not like they get stunned once and they're done and then you just do damage. No, if you can control this thing, because it's like, it almost feels like you're running on ice whenever you're using this ability with how he's moving. Like if you're trying to like move around and stuff, it feels like he's running on ice. Now, the one cool thing about that ability as well is that if you're running in a straight line and you're not trying to like move around in a circle, whatever, he just picks up speed. This dude's like a fucking boulder going down a mountain. So if someone is not smart and realize that, and you're chasing them, you run that ability, you're going to run them down easy because you just start picking up movement speed so much. But Stuffed Cheeks is really nice for me because I just like the ability. I like just using that belch ability. That's what I like using.
Yeah, so it looks like Covet, Belch, Bullet Seed, and Stuffed Cheeks.
Yep, Covet. Covet's the one where it's just like it feels like you're on ice trying to rotate it around, and it makes it kind of tough. But the Stuffed Cheeks is good because like you can just throw out berries for everyone. And I will say this: I have not played a shit ton of MOBAs. I'm very limited. Like I've played League, I played Heroes, I've played Arena of Valor, I've played this, I've played Smite. And out of all of the ones, while Heroes is the one that I spent the most time on by far, using Stuffed Cheeks, man, I'm getting like some PTSD fucking flashbacks of playing Deckard Cain on fucking HOTS, where I'm throwing these damn potions out for people to grab them, and they're not grabbing them. I'm like, then you just die. You're not my fucking problem. That's how I feel about Stuffed Cheeks, because I was in Zapdos with a Sylveon. Sylveon's almost dead. I threw 5 huge berries over to Sylveon to pick up and regain their health, and they're just like, no, I'm good. And they just stay in the Zapdos and die.
Yeah, no, that's dangerous.
God, it makes me so mad.
You can't expect anybody on your team to know what abilities you have.
Just
they don't know what you do.
Just pick up the berries, please. It heals you.
No,
but
they don't know that. That could kill them.
Now, the other downside about the berries, which I get, is your opponents can pick it up too and they can get healed from it. So if you're throwing out the berries, I always just try to aim it behind. So, obviously they can't get it. But I mean, I like that personally because I go into it, right? I have 5 berries going into a fight. I use Belch. And because of the 5 berries, the cooldowns are pretty much immediately reduced. I can immediately fire a second Belch, throw out Stuffed Cheeks, get 5 berries, and you basically spam Belch. I mean, the same thing when you use your ultimate, which is like you can dive into a battle, knock people up, whatever. If you use Belch, it's kind of similar to Blastoise with the Hydro Pump and the spin. You can just keep using it and keep doing the spin. Same thing. You use Belch when you're using your ult, like that. The after ult where you're like super powered up, he spams the fuck out of it. Now you are stuck in one spot though. That is the downside. You cannot move when you lock in the Belch, but you can just immediately spam. I enjoy Greedent. Greedent's really stupid, and I think he's fun to play. You should definitely check him out. I think you'll enjoy him.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
I think you'll enjoy him. I don't know. Well, you're not a big defender guy anyway.
I don't.
I don't even know who your main defender is. Is it Crustle?
No, I kind of just rotate around. I don't really have a main character that I play in that game.
Okay.
I'll rotate speedster, defender, support. I've kind of just decided I'm whatever I feel like playing at the time.
Fair enough. Yeah, Greedent's fun. Definitely recommend him. John, where do you want to go from here? Do you want to talk some New World, or do you want me to talk Guardians?
Let's finish off with Guardians.
Okay, finish off. So, New World. How's your New World adventure going so far? What's in any update?
I've got my 80-hour achievement now.
Okay.
I'm somewhere around 90 hours in.
Okay. Are you max level?
No.
What is max level?
60.
Okay.
48.
Are you gonna jump ship? Are you gonna come join the Yellow Boys with me and Zach?
I don't know. It's like the Marauders on our server not getting along very well.
Are they not?
To say the least. It's been a lot of Marauders jumping ship.
Oh no.
Yeah, the Marauders been jumping ship from mostly to Covenant.
Covenant is okay. So I actually happened to join the same company as Zach. I didn't know that until well after the fact. I just got invited. I'm like, whatever, by some random guy, and then I noticed well after that it's Zach's company. Zach's company is bloodthirsty. They are bloodthirsty, man.
Yeah. Well, from what he said. Well, the funny thing is, okay, so the last time I was on and talked about New World, neither you or him had picked it up and played it yet. A couple days after that, Zach picked it up, and then he's been playing it like a madman.
Yep.
And it's like you got me over here who he was excited about the PvE and the crafting and all of that in it. He got in the game, got a few levels under his belt, and he's been a fucking bloodthirsty man ever since.
True.
Without even realizing it at the time, he joined a company, and apparently he's in the, like, for the Covenant, the largest PvP company on the server.
Yep.
And so he's been kind of rotating around doing a lot of PvP stuff. So he went from thinking he was going to be like a PvE crafter guy to he's the PvP guy. And I've become more of the crafting guy, because I've basically taken the past couple days and I've been just doing like hemp runs for fiber and like gathering materials and stuff so I can level up all my armoring, mining, get everything up so I can actually like get my crafting up before I like heavily get into or get into like questing and the higher level areas a lot. I've been having fun just like casually doing, like, I'll throw a video up or podcast or something. I'll just run around. I'll run around, grab my materials, go back to town, use them all up, go back out, do it again. But I have started to venture out into the high level zones, and I will say, some of it's like one of the zones, I think it's 46 to 50. I think I entered it at 44 or 45. It's the first time in this game I've started to actually care about camps. I know PvP people place camps constantly.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the first time I've actually started caring, because
gonna die a lot.
going into just doing like the PvE side of it. Once you get into like the level 50 zones, it starts mattering that you can't just like kind of face roll over everything for the most part.
That's good.
So I've started to encounter some resistance in the mobs, so it's made it more interesting. But yeah, I've kind of taken on more of a passive crafting and like gathering ingredients for cooking role.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like I'm still having fun. I'm not playing it. It's not all I'm doing now. I've kind of started rotating other games in and doing that again, and it's more of, I got a little bit of time, I might as well jump on it.
Right.
But I am still having a lot of fun with it. I'm determined to eventually hit 60.
Gonna get there.
I'm gonna get there eventually. Yeah, about 90 hours in. I've got about 11 or 12 more levels to go.
Jesus. Yeah, I also picked up the game, and so here's one of my first takeaways with this game, which honestly baffles me. It really does, because I mean, I've mentioned it on this show before, and you know, you as my friend, you know this. Other my friends know this. I cannot play a majority of games keyboard and mouse. I just can't. I am that controller guy. I use a controller on pretty much any PC game. I have tried. I have sat down and attempted to learn keyboard and mouse for multiple games. When we were playing Destiny 2 a lot, I tried. Didn't happen. I've tried with Overwatch. I've tried with like Elder Scrolls Online. I've tried so many to try to learn keyboard and mouse, and I just haven't. I gotta say, I am baffled at how quickly I picked up keyboard and mouse for this game. Now, I will say I initially started playing with my normal mouse, normal keyboard, still picked it up fine. So if there's anyone like me that has a PC, but you're just still using a controller because you cannot do keyboard and mouse, I feel like this game's pretty friendly to it because I picked it up very easily, and I'm not someone who's ever been able to do that. Now, I will say I do have a second mouse that I use for certain games like these that has the 12 buttons on the side, and I have mapped that for like my different abilities, and that I am very much enjoying. It's made my life so much easier for this game as someone who's still learning keyboard and mouse. But I am legitimately impressed with how quickly I've picked it up, because that's not something I've done before. But I mean, I've enjoyed the game. From like, this is probably the first MMO that I really actually feel like I'm enjoying to some capacity. I enjoy grind to a point, and this is like, I guess, the right amount of grind where I don't feel like I'm getting burned out, you know, terribly. Like I hit my points where it's like, all right, yeah, let's stop for right now. But I mean, overall, I mean, I've actually enjoyed this game as someone who's never gotten into an MMO, which gives me hope, because I am very excited for Ashes of Creation whenever that comes out. And so I'm glad that I'm now getting some actual MMO experience under my belt before Ashes of Creation. But I don't know, there's a lot of things about the game that I enjoyed the concept of the wars taking the different territories. I haven't obviously been in one yet. I'm only like what level am I? 20? I might be 20. Yeah. No. I might be. I'm somewhere in the 10 to 20 range. I don't remember where. I know I'm at least 15 to 20, somewhere in there. I don't remember. So I haven't done any war stuff, but I like that concept. I think that's really neat to take over the different territories and to set up the war and fight it. And Zach explained it to me a little bit more about what it's like, because he got to partake in one to take first light. I think it's really cool, and that's something I definitely want to get into, is taking territories. I think that'd be really dope. I'm actually really enjoying this. I really am. Yeah, it's been fun.
I will say, like, having not really done the PvP stuff yet, I've kind of hit the point where I'm like, at this point, having leveled to where I'm at and then going through it, I'm like, you know what? It's about time to just start embracing the PvP side. Yeah. I might as well at this point. It's like I've wanted to, but I always find myself getting distracted doing other stuff. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. We're about to jump in.
I don't know if there's a right point to just jump into it. I don't know if I should wait till a certain level or just do it. That's where I'm kind of concerned.
It's one of those. I think it's one of those where if you start thinking you might want to do it, just do it.
Okay.
You might as well just jump in. Like, I'm hitting that point. I'm probably, it's like when I get on next, I'm probably gonna be just jumping in, start doing some of the PvP stuff.
Okay, that's good to know. You're right. I may just go ahead and jump in. I've been kind of scared. I ain't gonna lie. As a very novice MMO player, I'm just like, do I want to set myself up to just get fucked by at any time? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, it's about that time. It's also about that time. I guess I'll talk about Guardians now. I'll be up front. This game is great. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm enjoying the story so far, and man. I've been throughout this whole podcast, I'll find myself just randomly chuckling right now throughout this whole episode, because leading up to this moment because of one thing and one thing alone. And it's fucking what you said about it's only when you're on when I talk about Mass Effect, because I'm going to reference Mass Effect a lot with this fucking game.
I will say, I'm curious to hear you talk about this game. But before you get into it, I will say I've read one brief review on it. I didn't read the whole review. I just there's a tagline that caught my eye. It was a review of the Nintendo Switch Cloud version.
Yep. I am going to talk about that.
And I believe it was referenced as the worst way to play a great game.
Yep, I saw the same article. And man, I was talking to Josh about that briefly yesterday because, obviously he doesn't have like a PC or new consoles or anything. He has a Switch, that's it. And he's a big Guardians fan. He's a Guardians comic fan before the movies ever came out. So he wants to play this game. But it's the question, does he want to bite the bullet and get on this cloud version? My answer is no. There is way too much going on for this to be a cloud game on the Switch.
I'm very hesitant of buying anything that specifies cloud version.
I agree.
Because all that means is we couldn't make it work on your hardware.
Bingo. And that is basically this game. Because, man, I was doing a section of the game last night when we were leaving the rock where the Nova Core was, and just hordes of enemies as I'm trying to break our ship free to leave. And as I'm playing that, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I need to text Josh immediately after this and tell him, whatever you do not buy this game for the Switch, for that cloud version, because there was so much happening. And that's just in general, man, like flipping through and using and making sure that you utilize your abilities, whether if it's just like, left trigger X to just start flying, left trigger square to throw or circle to throw my grenades out, and then also doing, left bumper, square to hit, I think that one's Groot, to use his abilities, whatever. And keep in mind, it keeps going down to a further tree. All your Guardians can all get 4 abilities. So as you hit the right trigger to open the Guardian menu, you hit square to initiate Groot, and then you have to hit one of the 4 buttons again to initiate what ability you want to do. So I will say in that regard, I feel like this game would probably be really good on PC. I have not seen a PC control layout of how the buttons are on there, but I feel like there's so much going on for just a controller. But even though that's the case, it's kind of jarring and difficult at first once you get introduced to the Guardians, and it's going to continue to get difficult as I continue to unlock more abilities. But once you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad.
I was going to say, just hearing you describe how you have to initiate the menu, then initiate which one of the who you want it to be, and then initiate what ability you want. That seemed. I kind of understand why, if you're going to have a bunch of different abilities for different characters that you're basically just activating while they're doing other things. They just, by nature of it, it's going to be clunky.
It is. It's not. I've personally always felt like the Mass Effect character menus to pull up to use it's a big wheel, and every character has a shit ton of abilities. I always thought that was a little bit clunky, but more streamlined. It's more straightforward. It's just the fact that there's so many. So in the heat of battle, you're just like, quickly hit this menu and scroll around, hit what you want to hit for each character. This is, thankfully, very quickly. It does not pause the game. That
was what I was about to ask.
Yeah, it does not pause the game, but it severely slows the game down. So that does make it better. It does make it better in that regard. And, like I said, once you kind of get the hang of it, it's really not that bad. And I say that now. I only have unlocked a second ability for 2 characters. So I have 2 characters of the Guardians that have 2 abilities. Keep in mind, they all get 4. So 2 of my characters still only have 1 ability, so it makes it easy. So I don't know. You got in the heat of battle, especially when there's a lot of enemies going on. I guess you just need to really pay attention. Your brain's got to be rolling because you're like, all right, I need to use this build. I need to use that. I need to use this. Need to use this. And I will say it is making it a little difficult because I have found myself in those situations of where it's like I see everyone's abilities up. All right, let's do this. Let's do that, and I'll get hit or something. It's just like, oh shit, my bad. I'm trying to dodge and do this at the same time. So it is a little difficult. But I mean, I'm also just a bad gamer. So, I mean, I feel like a good gamer would probably be fine.
Okay, here's a question I get asked because I haven't watched anything on this game yet.
Mm-hmm.
When they showed the game initially, one of my biggest concerns was it felt like you weren't doing any damage against anybody. It all came from using the abilities of other people. Is it still like that?
At the beginning of the game, a little bit. It's not as bad as what we saw. You can still do some damage.
It's not like you're just kind of sitting there like
literally playing chess,
almost just like
a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, it's like you're just kind of sitting there. It's like, okay, well, I'm sitting here, I'm shooting at him, but I'm doing nothing. I might as well be shooting with a fucking water gun or something.
It's not that bad. Okay. At the beginning of the game, it may feel that way. You're still doing damage. I'll tell you up front, it's not as bad as what we saw. You're doing damage for sure.
So it feels like you're being meaningful to the battle, not just I'm all I'm doing is waiting on this cooldown over here.
Yes.
Okay.
And as the game is going to continue on, you're going to continue to get stronger. I'll go ahead and say this because I don't feel like it's a spoiler. It happens very early in the game, within like the first 2 or 3 chapters. And plus, when you literally start up the game, it shows you the controller layout when you're starting the game for the first time. Like, here's your button layout. It literally already says what the fucking buttons are going to be, which I feel like that was kind of a spoiler move because as soon as I read that, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And then I found out. So as the game goes on, your guns, you end up getting different elemental abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you have like the ice. I've now unlocked electricity, you have fire and wind. So as you get those as well, you can flip between like it's the two, it's the, for me, it's the right trigger is normal shoot and the right bumper is the elemental shoot. So between that alone, you can do some serious damage because like I'll have like these weird blob monsters that has a spike in it. Throw ice on that. The blob, the goo gets frozen immediately. Fire a shot, goo's gone, and lock on, kill that thing instantly. So I do feel like I'm doing damage.
Okay.
Which is nice. That is something that, you know, obviously we did have a concern about.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed, and I'm like, this all looks great, but it looks like he's doing nothing.
Yeah, no, that is, in my opinion, taken care of. And as you continue to go on and get your upgrades and stuff, it definitely, you feel meaningful for sure. Now, one thing that I do overly love about this game, just because of my diehard love for Mass Effect, is I love the downtime between the missions when you're on your ship and you just go talk to all the members of the Guardians, because that sort of stuff is what made Mass Effect so great, was being on the Normandy, talking to everyone and getting all these different dialogue options and just, you know, like where you're going to go with it. I enjoy that. I do enjoy the quick reaction moments in conversations where it'll pop up like X, you know, pop up square on the screen for me. You know, you click it and then you get to choose one way or there, or you can just choose to stay silent. That's your choice, and that will have impact on you. It'll pop up at the right corner of the screen where, for example, we saw this in the initial reveal where you can throw Rocket across this chasm. I threw Rocket. Yeah, it's just like, well, how are we going to get over there? It's like, oh, well, we could do this, and Drax picks him up. It's just like, well, I could just throw him, and Rocket's getting really fucking pissed, and you know, I chose to throw him, and Star was like, yeah, dude, just go ahead and throw him. You'll be fine. You know, it's like, yeah, you'll land on your feet, and then he just hits the ground, and Peter's just like, oh, maybe that only just applies to cats. And it pops up the screen. Rocket is furious that you let Drax throw him. So that's all cool. I enjoy that. There was one part when you get back to like the Nova Core Rock, whatever. You have like a helmet on. You're listening to something, and you can choose to say, "Hello, is this thing on?" or say or stay quiet, and it pops up. The Guardians agree with you that staying quiet was a better option. So that sort of stuff is great. The conversations are great, and just the conversations in general are honestly fantastic. I love just like, I've enjoyed just sitting there on the ship, just standing completely still and listening to two characters bicker back and forth. It is hilarious to me. I love how literally almost nonstop everyone is cursing at every other word, but it's like their space talk. So like flark is fuck. So everyone is saying, oh, you gotta be flarking kidding me, or you flarkhole or whatever, nonstop. And I enjoy that because obviously it's just them cursing. They have an alternate word for shit and ass and everything, just space talk. And I really enjoy that. You know, with some of the interactions, one of my favorite ones so far is like, it was me, Gamora, and Drax going through this one area, and we're hunting like a creature, and Peter's just like, so did you guys have any pets as a kid? And Gamora's like, I had an eyeball in a jar. It always looked like it wanted to blink, but it didn't have eyelids, so it just couldn't. And then Peter's just like, okay, moving on. Drax, did you have any pets? And Drax is like, but I kind of want to talk about the eyeball. You know, just stuff like that is just very funny to me. When you go meet like our main antagonist, Lady Hellbender, she knows who Drax is. It's like, Drax the Destroyer. And she starts like talking him up and stuff. And Drax comes over to Peter, and Drax is like, Peter Quill, I think that she's flirting with me. And Peter's just like, and you can choose how you can like either say, hey, I'll take the lead, or go and encourage Drax. And I encourage Drax, and Peter's like, I don't know, man, just put the fucking moves on her or something. Fucking go flirt with her. So it's just stupid shit like that. It's just very entertaining. You know, walking into the bathroom on your ship and Groot's in there with your toothbrush, and you're like, is that my toothbrush? And Groot's just like, I am Groot, and just slams the door on your face. Same thing with Rocket. You open the bathroom, Rocket's got your toothbrush. It's like, why are you guys using my toothbrush? And Rocket's like, it really gets into the small areas. You know what I mean? And then just slams the door in your face. All of that is fantastic. The gameplay, like I said, it does feel a little cluttered because there's so much going on a single controller. I feel like if I had like the Xbox Elite and it was mapped to the Elite with the bumpers, on the back, I feel like that would probably make the gameplay a lot better. So if PlayStation had something like that, that'd probably be pretty sick. But just on a standard controller, it does feel like there's a lot going on. But once you get the hang of it, it's really not bad. And so far, the story is very entertaining. The chapters are quick. So, and I know the story is probably like a 20 to 30 hour completion, which fine. That's about what Marvel Spider-Man was, depending on how much exploration you did. So I think I'm on like chapter 7. So the chapters are not long. They're not like a Red Dead where there's only 5 chapters across this massive game. It's like a bunch of like pretty quick chapters, which isn't too bad. It is also kind of interesting as you're going through the different areas. If you choose to go off the map and kind of like, all right, hey, I see some, materials. Let me go grab that and, go explore. People will, get mad at you. Like Rocket has 0 fucking patience for you. 0. Where you go off and then, go check this out, and Rocket's like, oh, what the fuck is he doing now? I was like, oh, is he gonna fucking call us over here? Oh, guys, look at this. This looks so cool. Like making fun of me and shit. So that's all. It's great. Like if you like Guardians in any capacity, you like the interactions that we've seen, like the movies or the comics or whatever, you're gonna love this game. Like the interactions are honestly fantastic, and the gameplay is very entertaining as well. Of course, is what you would expect out of Guardians because of what the movies did. The music in the game is fantastic. It really sets the mood continuously. Like you have the huddle up ability, which is pretty entertaining because you can fuck that up. Where you huddle up, it's like, guys, huddle up, and everyone comes up and they're talking about the fight that you're in. Where they're, if in one way, if they're like, man, we're really kicking ass, yeah, we got this, and then depending on like your option, you can fuck it up. Where it's just like, Gamora like, Peter, what are you talking about? We're winning. And then it's just, everyone's just like, no, you're an idiot. And they'll run away from the thing. It's just like, way to read the team, Peter. So when that happens, you get the buff, but they don't. But then if you do it the correct way in the huddle up, everyone gets a buff if you like inspire them to continue on, whatever. So that is all entertaining of just how much people will shit on you on a consistent basis. But I mean, it's really fun though.
All right. Yeah. Cause I forgot this game was coming out until I saw you message me. I think you sent me a message yesterday saying you were finally getting it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it did come out. So it's like it's one that I'm curious about.
I would get it. I mean, I know you liked, Spider-Man. I know you liked the story direction there. This is a very heavily story-focused game, which is a good thing for Marvel games, in my opinion. I think you would enjoy this game.
Yeah, I want to get it. I just don't know if I want to get it right now. Because I've got a lot going on right now. I got New World going on. New League on Path of Exile came out. I just started on Age of Empires 4. And then I've been trying to sneak in some Back 4 Blood as well. And it's...
Yeah, you have a lot.
Well, that, and then another game that I play is Gloomhaven Digital Edition. Finally came out like with the 1.0 story, like campaign mode, and I've been playing that with one of my buddies as well. So it's like I got a lot going on right now.
Yeah, dude, it sounds like it. Well, when you get some free time, I definitely give this game a pick up. I really think it's worth it. I mean, I would say right now, if I had to rate this thing out of 10, honestly, I'd probably like an 8.5. I mean, I am legitimately enjoying this, and I guess it's because I feel so many Mass Effect vibes to some like the general like ship and how the interactions go, and just the interactions between characters. That was always my favorite part of the Mass Effect series. So I would give probably 8.5 right now. My opinion could change as we continue on with the story. It may go up to a 9. But I mean, I'm not going to probably say this game's going to be a 10. I will say that up front, because one knock that I do have against the game is just how cluttered, playing on controller feels. Again, I don't know if it could be better on PC. I know it obviously came out on PC. I don't know if it's all going to be perfectly mapped out on a keyboard or not. I have no idea, but I mean, it does feel like there's a lot going on for a controller. Again, if it was like an Xbox Series Elite sort of thing where I have the extra paddles on the back, it might be better. It might feel a lot better if you could map it to the paddles. That'd be pretty cool. But because of just how cluttered it kind of feels, I'm not going to give it a 10. I'm just not going to get a perfect score. But it may get bumped up to a 9, depending on how the rest of the story goes. But
all right.
I think that'll do it for this episode, though. Pretty good episode. John, do you have any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh shit! I was gonna try to do Zach's normal like rundown. It all went away as you asked me about it.
I honestly, I don't even know it. I mean, he does it so well, like off the top of his head, kind of like I do the intro. I feel like I do the intro as a copy paste repeat pretty well, and he does that thing very well also.
Yeah, the fun being on here this episode. Maybe Zach will decide he can come in on the next one. But
yeah, maybe.
if you made it this far, appreciate you.
True. This is a longer one.
Do the stuff. Do the stuff like the subscribe if you want to, or click the bell.
Yep.
Whatever your platform allows.
There you go. That's what he says.
That's close enough.
Yeah, that's one thing that he says. Yeah. Yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, or whatever your platform. I think that's what he says. Yeah, that's what he says. It is what it is. Also, for everyone that watched this on YouTube, hopefully it's not terrible. I did my best with the cameras. I did notice there were times I fucked up.
I thought you were gonna make me do it. I got over here and I went, I don't know where it is, but it's gonna be rough.
I did my best. I mean, I feel like there were times where I kind of fucked up and I left it on me too long or you too long, but I did try. So, I mean, hey, A for effort, I guess. Maybe like a C+ for execution. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out the other podcasts like AniMan Plus, Terrible Football Show, talking about movies and stuff, etc. If you want to support us, again, Patreon's a great way to do so. Don't feel like bad. Just be a friend, tell a friend. Shout out to Andy once again. And until next time, guys, have a good one. See you.